I'm Dave Williams. I run the Equipt project, and today we're at Fulham Football Club. In fact, we're actually in the Craven Cottage at the end of the ground, and we're running the Equipt Project Forum, which is a platform for industry practitioners to get together with sports business teachers to learn more and get closer and keep pace with the industry, so the students that graduate from the various universities and institutions can be work ready and more qualified to start work.
For me, university life is about preparing you for the world of work, and anything the sports industry can do to help university education providers understand what that world of work looks like is vital, because they can then hand that knowledge on to their students, or they provide them with their signposts. What you don't want is for education to just be about education itself. It's education as a preparation for a working life. I think this industry is underdeveloped relative to many others, and anything we can do to improve that degree of development will mean that better people are entering the industry, and they're entering for the right reasons into the right jobs, and they're flourishing in those positions.
What's really important is to facilitate a landscape where students can really maximize their potential, follow their passions, and have a diverse knowledge of what's out there in the industry, rather than just traditional sports landscapes, but branching out and how they can use experience from the past, the knowledge that they've gained, and opportunities in the future to really continue growing and find an industry and contribute to the wider sports sector.
One of the biggest things that we hear from our master's students is that they want to have as much proximity to industry as possible and experience real-world data, problems and the realities of working in sport organisations. And so what we have identified is that we believe we want to ensure students have access to industry and understand what's going on the ground. I think academically we can teach them a lot theoretically, but it's about that applied application and bridging academia and practice that is what's going to set them apart when they go into the job market.
Yes, knowledge is important. Yes, a passion for sport is important, but it's almost the characteristics and the personality of the people we hire. We want people to be entrepreneurial, dynamic, challenge the status quo, and that's a really powerful way of getting noticed.
Doing deep homework to really show that you understand the organisation you're applying to, what the job might entail. You may not be perfectly skilled today, particularly if you're a young person, but show that you care by having really done your work to understand. The sports industry is incredibly fragmented. Don't tie yourself to a very narrow ambition for exactly what it is you want to do. Find your way in, because once you're in the industry, it's a hell of a lot easier to find your way into your perfect job than it is from the outside.
Taking the risk, putting myself out there, preparing as best as I can, from basic things like writing my CV correctly, practicing interview type questions, and also speaking to industry professionals before my interviews to make sure I had a really good understanding of the sector. Things like that really sort of honed in my ability to say, okay, I'm ready for this, let me take on the challenge.
Some of the traits that I had within me was confidence and appetite to learn. You have to have self-belief, and with self-belief, you could do miracles.
I think there is often historically been a disconnect between academia and industry, and it's working out what our role is as an institution to help support and enhance students' access to industry. I think core to our ethos at Loughborough is providing that applied experience that's going to set the student up in the best way possible.
If you're a university, if you're a governing body, if you're a sports employer, your duty is to help make that education process easier. It's all for me about depth of understanding, because I'm much more interested in hiring somebody that I think understands the job in hand and understands my organisation than just taking a risk on someone who has a polished CV.
Really important that the organisations don't just sit there and expect candidates to present themselves forward. I also think it's really vital for a diverse workforce, which actually helps create a better outcome for business altogether, that organisations actively go out and look outside of their usual networks and go further afield, beyond the Russell Group universities and beyond universities altogether sometimes, and find who are the right people who deserve the opportunity and can actually bring a whole new wave of fresh thinking to their organisation, which will ultimately benefit their bottom line, which is what they're looking to do.
Access to different opportunities within different sectors, and I think that will inspire and galvanise a student at university from let's say a minority background that probably hasn't really seen anyone within his or her family be successful or be an influential figure.
It's the balance between an academic undergrad or master's degree programme in terms of the academic content and the rigour, but the other side of it is the industry experience, the practical real life learning and application. And I think that it's really important that a degree holds both of those things. We all know programmes, and as we've spoken today, I think my programme is higher on the practical application, and other degree programmes are higher on the academic side. They need to know how to work in a team, how to problem solve. Having some practical application is really important.
I'd say this is the first time that we've been able to have a room full of kind of senior leaders in European kind of higher education and talk about directly and candidly what needs to change, how industry can work better with higher education. And it's really important to have these dialogues and having an environment where these happen. So yeah, it's super beneficial both for students and for the industry as a whole.
Something like the Equipt project is really helpful. It's a bit of a sort of two-way reciprocal process. So obviously people from the industry like myself are talking to the universities and the academic staff, and it's really interesting for them to kind of get a feel for how we're thinking lately in the industry about the talent that's coming through. But likewise, it's really important for us to learn about what skills and opportunities that the courses that are being delivered are presenting back to the industry, and how ultimately how we can best work together to solve the problems that we have.
I think it's really important to bring a diverse group of people, organisations, institutions together, like what the Equipt project has done today. If we stick to what we know and who we know and keep talking to the same people, we're not going to diversify our ideas, we're not going to innovate and create new pathways and evolve the industry. So I think having a space and a platform to communicate, and where industry professionals can come together with academia, lecturers, etc., and bridge the gap for the students is really important.
That's how you share best practice, and that's how you can put down tangible actions down, and you will stumble across a creative concept just because you've got the right individuals in the room. So you've got a student, you've got an educational institute, and you've got a sporting organisation. So for me, events like this is so paramount, and that's why I'm so happy to do them and so proud to participate in them.
Being honest, I don't think it's happening enough, which is why events like this are fantastic, to bring people together, to have these conversations with like-minded people in the room and create links for universities and for, importantly, those students that are on those university programmes.
You can get all the opportunities in the world as an individual, as a student, but I think also you have to be resilient to knockbacks, and if this is something you're passionate about and you want to work within this industry, you have to keep trying, keep pushing, keep taking every opportunity you get.
I think it's that idea of what students need, and then there's that multiple, their requirements for getting jobs in the sports industry is partly about knowing the information. It's about work placement and internship and getting that experience, but most of all it's that kind of drive, the drive that gets you to network with people, to meet people and to push yourself forward confidently, knowing the industry and knowing you've got what it takes to do well. I think we had a lot of lively conversation, and I think we've moved everything forward. To a degree, we were all kind of preaching to the converted because everybody who came was very into the idea of workplace learning, internships, collaborative projects on research and dissertations, whether that was about the variety of opportunities in the sports industry. It's not as a set pattern as a lot of other industries in that it's a kind of a patchwork quilt of opportunities and types of skills and competencies that are needed. We talked a lot about delivering experiences they need with industry to be better qualified, and we talked about the structure of courses and assessments and how that would work. I think there's still plenty of way to go with this, but equally, without taking this first step with this first meeting, it'd be difficult to know where to go, but now we've got some feedback, I think we can get much more specific about what we're offering. So it went very well.